Hey everybody, welcome to Good Talk with Robyn, Eve, and Donnie Vapor, and you're in for a special treat. I have a friend that paid us a visit to the Vapor and Eve neighborhood, if you would, and she is Marci Geller, an American singer-songwriter from Long Island, New York. That's where we're from. She's an internationally acclaimed touring artist with numerous soundtrack placements on VH1, MTV, A&E, ABC, Family, Discovery, Food TV. I'm running out of breath. She's done a lot of stuff, and she was also voted top 10 best singer-songwriters by Independent Songwriter Magazine. I welcome you, our friend Marci Geller. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. What a mouthful. Oh my goodness, I ran out of breath with your accomplishment.
I'm very impressed. I'm flattered and impressed at the same time.
This is wonderful. So truth be told, we live not too far apart from each other on this thing we call Long Island, New York. You're like maybe 20 minutes away.
Yeah, I always refer to it as l'île de Laronge to make it sound a little fancier. You know?
I'll say that again. I like that. We learned that.
L'île de Laronge, the island of Long.
L'île de Laronge. Oh, that's
L'île de Laronge, yes.
That is so beautiful. So I'd love you to, I want our audience, we have an audience around the world, to get acquainted with you and your work. Tell us a little bit about your story, how you started in music, what you've been up to.
Wow. Okay. Well, starting from where I started would take us hours. So I'll give you like the cliff notes of my life.
Sure.
I basically was always a creative musical kid, and my parents really supported and encouraged it. I went, to school for music, and I think, let me see, what was my most significant moments? I mean, I think that I got into school and it just really reaffirmed for me that this is who I am and this is what I want to do in my life. It was just a question of how was I going to do it? Being a musician, you could take on so many different career paths. For me, I started out typical singer-songwriter. I toured quite a bit, internationally and in the country as the support act for Blackmore's Night. And I did, I got signed to a label. I was on television. I know we just lost Regis Philbin. I actually was on Live with Regis. That's how old I am.
You're not that old. Blackmore's Night. That's Richie Blackmore you mentioned.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Regis Philbin, wow, he just passed away.
Yeah, he just passed away, and that was one of, Andy Warhol said you get 15 minutes of fame, and I got my 2 minutes. I was on the Live with Regis show, and it changed my life. And, and then I went from touring with Richie's band as the opener and also being in his band to then touring on my own, yada, yada, a bunch of record deals later. Just decided to do it as an independent artist, and sort of like brings me to this moment in time where, we're not touring, obviously. So I'm really focused on the songwriting and recording, and I'm fortunate enough. I've co-owned a commercial recording studio for decades. And then when my husband and I finally bought a house about 16 years ago, like a year or two in, I rebuilt the studio, and that's where I am right now. This is like my home within my home.
You started doing some online programming. I believe it's everybody's birthday sometime, or you told me that. How does that go?
Yes, every Saturday at 5 o'clock Eastern time, I do an online concert called It's Always Someone's Birthday Party.
Okay.
And it happened because my birthday was April 11th and we couldn't go out with friends. We weren't going to go anywhere. So I threw myself an online birthday party, and so many people were like, my birthday's Tuesday and my birthday was just this past week. And so I said, you know what, I'll come back and do it next week for you guys. And then it just kept going. So I've been doing It's Always Someone's Birthday party since April 11th. And on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 10 a.m., I do Coffee and a Song. So that's a little mini concert just to start my day. Because if I'm like feeling like, foggy or like I don't want to do the things on my list, that 15-20 minutes of singing for people, it like brings me to life.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Marci, time goes really quick, and I'm looking at the time. I have like two more questions if I could get them out.
Go ahead. I'll talk less.
No, no, no. I'm loving everything you're saying. I want to stay on line with what you just talked about. My question is one of the two. How can the folks out here in our audience find you? Find these shows? How can they get in touch with you?
Easy peasy. Just go to marcigeller.com, and I'm sure you guys will spell it for them so I don't have to spell it out. marcigeller.com is my cyber home. If you sign up for my mailing list, you'll get the newsletter. If you follow me on all the social media, I'm all over the social media. That's the easiest way to find me.
That's fantastic. And then that brings me to my last question. And I kind of want to throw this at you. I got the out of left field question. Let's say years and years and years from now, after we're long gone, somebody stumbles onto a body of your work. What would you want these people that look at your work to take from it, to realize, who are you? What does that represent? Who was Marci Geller?
My hope is that it does the same exact thing that my first heroes did, which was make me feel a little less alone. I hope that anybody that listens to my music feels like I was trying to connect with others and make them feel seen and heard. You know, that's the truth.
Wow, that's touching. That's beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That is really cool. Guys, you guys are in for a treat because in a second I'm going to throw it to a very special video that we put together. One of Marci's original songs called After the Flood. And thank you so much for having a good talk with us today. I really appreciate it, Marci.
Thank you for having me. This was great. And I love that you guys do this. I think it's more connection. It's awesome.
It's all about connection. And without further ado, we're going to go to After the Flood. Marci, take care.
You too. Bye.
When the water did retreat, left our bodies soaked with grief, as we watched our worldly goods float and sink. There were tears that joined the rain. We did not drown, it washed us clean. Then the thunder moved the ground, lightning lit up the pain. We came undone, begged for the sun. We will rise up. We will rise up. We will rise after the flood. Then the soldiers did appear, armed with kindness to heal the fear, and we toiled into the night that fell near. Shred the walls down to the bone. Friends remained our cornerstone. It was the great
Thank you, Pulmonary Wellness Foundation, Good Talk TV sponsor. Please visit pulmonarywellness.com to learn more about this incredible organization.
Hey everybody, this is Motorcycle Mike, the personal injury lawyer. I've been riding motorcycles my entire adult life. During the course of my 30-year career as a lawyer, I've also represented countless injured motorcyclists. If you're one of them, I can be of assistance to you. Go to my website, please, motorcyclemikeesq.com. I'll always be there for you. I'm on your side when you ride.
Joe DeJesu, our original artist of the week from Good Talk TV show Season 1, has a brand new release available that you want to download on all of your digital media platforms. Another Sacrifice is the highly anticipated follow-up single to Cry and Miss Maybe, released in 2019. Joe is also the host of Jam Acoustic Mondays on Govs Radio. Please follow Joe DeJesu Music on Facebook and Instagram and download Another Sacrifice today.
God knows what we've done. Doesn't matter what we
do. It is my privilege and pleasure to introduce to you our Good Talk International Spotlight Artist of the Week, Taryn Laronge. Taryn,
Hello.
welcome to Good Talk.
Thank you so much for having me on this interview show. It's wonderful. I'm so grateful.
You're very welcome. It was so great to be able to discover you and your music recently. It came across my news feed on social media, and so the first song that I listened to, I fell in love with, and then I went to the next one, and then I'm playing you nonstop on my playlist. You've got a great story, you've got a great style, and we're really excited about our viewers to meet you. So just to want to touch a little bit on the beginning where you started out, you were involved with a band back in the 90s, and you were a lead singer with them, and that was the Pariah Project, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a down-tempo, kind of like Portishead, that kind of, I don't know if you remember Portishead from the UK, kind of
Yes.
Kind of down-tempo with Beth Gibbons as she was the singer of that project, and we were kind of trying to copy it, like emulate it a little bit with an original, vibe too. But
you had a lot of buzz around that project as well. I know that there was a lot of airplay. It was involved in some compilations as well, right?
Yes. Yeah, we got radio play in the UK, and we didn't get radio play in the US. I think it was just the UK. Yeah. But yeah, and then and then we were on compilations in the US with the Cleopatra label group out of LA.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. Yeah.
So after the band decided to disperse, you kind of set back for a little while, and you were trying to find your voice, and that surprised me because your voice is just so natural and prominent and smooth, and it feels like the way that you perform your music, like this has been second nature and you've been doing it all along. It was surprising to me that you didn't start finding your voice, as you said it, and writing your own stuff until you had a very life-changing thing happen to you. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Yeah, I got hit by a big truck when I was turning left. So it was like a T-bone, I guess. And I had to go to the hospital, and my back was so bad that I literally couldn't walk. And I actually was gonna, like, after the prior project music where I was kind of doing this, like, emulating Beth Gibbons with my own style, like, kind of applied to it, I was gonna go into musical theater because I guess I didn't really believe that I had my own original style. Like, I just was like, okay, I sing and I love performing, and I was doing emulation of other artists, and then I was like, I'm going to go to musical theater school. Mm-hmm. Right before I went to musical theater school, I was literally supposed to start all the dance classes and all the singing classes. And this was a pro high, like it would have gotten you to Broadway, you know? And yeah, I mean, as long as I did the work. But I woke up my, like, second week of my school, and I couldn't even move. I was like, to my boyfriend at the time, I said, I can't get out of bed. And here I am supposed to go, like, you know, do like 5 dance classes a day and train and all this stuff. Long story short, I finished my program, but without doing the dancing part. So I'd be at the school, which was sort of like a Fame or a, like, you know, like a Juilliard kind of type thing.
That's Fame.
Watching all these other, you know, girls do the dance classes, just dying to move. And all I could do, barely, like not till like halfway through the year, was a 2-year program. And halfway through the year, I started to be able to sit on a piano. And like, to be honest, I was probably kind of depressed, like, you know, and because of like because of my physical condition. And I just was like putzering around on the piano, and I didn't even really know, but I was writing songs, you know, and I didn't know they were songs to help me get over my pain, but I didn't, like, my own, just because it's all I could do, like, and I had all this spare time because I couldn't do the dance classes. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, and I couldn't put in a lot of practicing because I couldn't even do a proper musical theater song because most of the songs require a little bit of movement, you know, like I couldn't do anything from Chicago or anything that was upbeat. I might be able to sing a ballad from a musical, but that only goes so far. And so I was really, like, bummed out, and I would go to the piano. They had a beautiful piano, and I would just write. So that's how it started. So in other words, the accident, the lack of mobility, kind of, I ended up finding myself going to a piano, because that's like all I could do because an instrument is a great way to express yourself if you can't move. I mean, as long as you have the mobility of your fingers, you know. So that's how that happened. And then, and I didn't really, it took me a long time to believe in to still find my voice. Like, it took me, I'm still kind of finding it. But yeah.
So am I.
Yeah.
I think there were so many things about you that I related to with your music and your style and your personality and everything. But the finding your own voice was definitely one that I did. I grew up often needing to be quiet for various reasons.
Right.
And, circumstances and respect and courtesy and things. But it was very important for me to always be quiet. And it was hard for me to find my voice literally when I would start singing, because I was afraid of not being good enough. I was afraid of being able to hold a tone. Was I going to go flat? Was I going to go sharp or anything? And was I too loud?
Right.
Was I bothering people? And that was something that I really had to get past. And, you know, going from fronting a band, you've got everybody behind you, and you're there as a team, and then throwing yourself out there as a solo performer, it's very much, this is me. Ta-da! Yeah. And it's so personal, it's so challenging, and you have risen to that challenge, because your songs are so relatable, and they are so personal, but they are also something that they feel like a warm blanket.
Oh, thanks.
There's a level of comfort to what you do and how you put it together that it's just soothing. It makes you feel good. And it also, I find it to be very empowering, and I like things that are empowering. And that brings us to something else that you do. You empower other women singer-songwriters.
Yes.
And that is something that's so important to you. And as one of them, thank you. And
yeah, right back at you.
yeah, I just love that. There are so many people that view things as competition, or, they tend to get a little catty, or there's some jealousy. And we have really surrounded ourselves with people who are not like that. We are in this together. We want to get the music heard. We want to help other people. And I'm going to take a second and give a shout out to our very first artist of the week, Rory Kelly, because when I knew that I was going to be talking to Taryn today, I purposely left on my Lady Beast shirt for Rory Kelly, because we've got an honorary Lady Beast in the house. And I'd love for you to tell our viewers a little bit about what you are doing to help other musicians be heard, and how you're helping out with scholarships and stuff. It's amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so I actually have another scholarship that you can hit me up. Anybody, any female out there can hit me up. I'm always like, so anyways, how you would hit me up is you'd email me just at my full name at gmail.com, and just put like scholarship in the subject line. And it would be a scholarship to get one song fully produced so that you could release it as a single. I'm not trying to make any money off anyone. I would pay for the song to get produced. You can't use Jay-Z or somebody huge like that because I don't have the budget, but you could use somebody decent, unless Jay-Z wants to swing us a deal or something. But anyways, but yeah, and I have a maximum budget, but it's a decent budget, so it'll get a good song done. And then I also like to help the artist sort of show them how to properly release the single on digital, like music. They're called aggregators, but like the places like DistroKid, CD Baby, etc.
We talked a little bit about that. And you had learned a lot of really important information about people being able to link to their music.
Most artists these days are getting lost in the sea of digital music files. And especially right now with COVID, because if you go down to your local music stores, everybody's got their microphones rented out, because everybody's recording right now at home, which you can do a pretty good job at home these days. I still like to go to a store for like the experience and for it kind of just bring, it's like the same thing as performing in the theater. It just brings that, experience. Yeah, exactly. But anyways, there's so many songs being released right now, like thousands of that, like New Music Friday. It's just like your song is going to get lost if it's not properly labeled. And it goes and they get their song mixed and they get their song mastered, and they might hear about label your song, or it's also called meta tagging or meta label tagging or metadata. There's words for it, but essentially it's just put your name and your phone number, because your name only goes so far, because maybe like you don't have a website yet, so nobody can call you, and your email, and you're even supposed to embed the lyrics of your song in it to do it really properly, like the record labels do. And that way, at least if your music gets discovered by somebody on Spotify, they can contact you. But a lot of indie artists or new musicians, they put their song out there. You don't even see the name of the artist come up when you play the song. And they think it's enough to just have their song title come up, but it's not. And if your song gets played on Spotify and gets played on other sources or YouTube or whatever, you'll never be able to go trace your royalties from these places if you don't have it labeled, because there's all the companies that trace your royalties, they trace it back to your name, and it goes right to your name is linked to your literally to your tax, your tax, like your taxable name, just like a business.
Hi, this is Tom Plintz of the New York Bee Gees, and I love having a good talk with Robyn Eve and Donnie Vapor.
Writing a book is the adventure of a lifetime. Red Penguin Books take pride in giving our authors a publishing experience that is stress-free and celebratory all the way. Some of our authors first approach us with no more than an idea for a book that's ready to sprout. Others submit completed manuscripts. Whether you're at either end or anywhere in between, our goal is to get you published. At Red Penguin Books, we offer options and opportunities that are unique in the world of publishing, and all of them are designed to keep you, the author we so deeply respect, in the driver's seat, unlike other publishing houses. So, if you want to write a book and are looking for a publisher, we've got you covered. Red Penguin Books deal in publishing services, book development, and ghostwriting for digital, print, and audiobook. Call us at 516-448-4993 or visit our website www.redpenguinbooks.com.
They just don't know. It's the music business, and I used to feel like I didn't well, like I used to feel a lack of like, oh, Taryn, come on, it can't be that hard. It's the hardest business to, you can be entrepreneurial until the cows come home and still not figure, like, you know, you could sell real estate, you could sell like whatever, you could make print t-shirts, and like, it's not about selling. You have to be a flippin' accountant to figure the business out. And if you're not willing to, you know, take the 10 years that I think it takes really, truly to understand and learn the music business, it's the toughest industry to figure out. So you need to ask other independent female musicians to help you out, and you need to trust them. And, you know, I can't think of most independent female artists are the ones you can trust, and maybe not a lot of other people, you know?
I'm definitely seeing more of the supporting each other, you know, the Lady Bees collective thing. And I think that it's something that we definitely need more of, you know. We need to be able to work together. We need to be able to help support each other. And like you're explaining all of this stuff that you had learned and how long that it took you to learn it. Yeah. And yet you're willing to share this information with other people because it helps them. Because it helps get their music heard. It helps them collect royalties on their songs. And it's not like, oh, okay, so Taryn is this now, you know, master overseer, executive producer who's going to be in charge of everything. Yeah. It's, I have this information and it's important and you should know it. Yes. And I have a hell of a lot of respect for that. I really do.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to be a record label. I don't want to be a co-writer on the song. I don't want to make any money. I just want another artist who is in their 20s to release their music properly so that the royalties, I mean, if their music's released properly, the royalties will only come to them under their name, because it should come to your taxable address, like, you know? Mm-hmm. So I can't make any money on it, you know, like basically, unless I was a co-writer, but I'm not looking to co-write really. Like, I mean, I am, but not for, it's just information that I want people to know.
You're helping. You want to help get the music heard.
It would be a phone call.
Artists get empowered and be able to own and learn and use their own voices.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. I like that.
And when I first started getting my first royalty, it's weird because it's not about the money, but when you know you've done it properly and royalties come in, like I literally signed up for Sound Exchange, which is one of the collectives or like companies you need to sign up with properly. I hadn't done that for years. And when I finally did that, I got some royalty money coming in. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's not about like the amount of money. It just feels like like when you do your taxes properly, or when you do your, you know, you set things up properly, or, you know, or you, it's just that satisfaction.
Reward for a job well done.
Yeah, it's a job well done. Exactly.
Everything that you're talking about with how you want to empower and help everybody, it really comes through with your music. So when I jumped down the rabbit hole with your music, I found that I just loved one after the other. And that's really hard to do because you don't mirror anybody. Your songs sound different from one another. So it's not like it was this, you know, this one collection of everything sounding the same and I expected to like it. Your songs, there's a consistency with them that is so true to you, but they really ring true with different experiences and different feel, and they allow us to channel our own emotions in a really beautiful way. And one song that really stands out is the video that we are about to feature and show our viewers, and that was Pictures. Now, Pictures is actually from your first album. It's not from the new project that we are promoting called Little Doorways now. And that's also a beautiful, beautiful project.
Thank you.
This was from your first album, and Pictures, I felt like, not that I could have written it, but I wish that I did.
I know what you mean. I love it.
You know, because it just felt like it put words to my feelings. And you didn't experience my experiences. I experienced my own experiences, but you were able to put words to mine. And that is a level of songwriting that I really appreciate. When you can help me learn about you through what you're doing and then help me find me in the process, yeah, that's a win-win.
Aww, that's nice.
So you've got a cover project that you're going to be releasing soon, and that is the music of Bob Dylan. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm going to put out a full, probably 12-song album of Bob Dylan cover songs. They're going to be all just solo piano and voice with no harmonies, just like really raw acoustic, but on a grand piano. I think on a grand piano anyways. I might do a combination of upright for some song. I won't mix, but like either an upright or a grand piano and solo vocal, and at the like a live vibe. So I play and sing at the same time, and it's recorded that way, which is how Tori Amos did her recording on the album that we both love, the Little Earthquakes.
Earthquakes.
Yeah. So I love the live vibe when you the way that we all play and sing at the same time. It just, even if you end up re-recording the vocal, at least to get the vibe of how we sound connected to playing, I think the female voice, it is so much more empowered when they're playing and singing at the same time, because we're not relying on somebody else to play the guitar. You know, we're just more connected to our own BPM or rhythm or pacing of the song.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You can feel it when it's, you know, you're more in control of your ebb and flow. And I think that any instrument that you're using is going, you know, kind of goes along with how you're breathing and how you're feeling the song as you go. And it's really challenging to capture that when you're not making the music yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And even to that point, I would say that if an artist can't play an instrument yet, well, they might be able to learn their music in a really simple way on one instrument, either piano or guitar, I would suggest, or maybe ukulele, depends on the style. And then I would my advice would be just force yourself to learn the song simply and put down the bed track or learn the melody. Just it will enhance even if somebody else does play it. So don't feel bad if you can't play yet, but dig a little into put your fingers on the instrument a little bit, and even if you don't end up keeping it, you know what I mean? Because it will really go a long way to the vibe, and it'll help you find the tempo that you want that goes with your singing, you know, instead of having to
find based on feel.
Yeah, and I think we find our feel and our tempo before our voice, which is kind of weird. I don't like, I just kind of got shivers. but
it's goosebump day.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So yeah, there's something about finding your feel, and I'm just writing that down, and your tempo. Well, you know what? That goes to the whole breath before words. You know, like when we're kids, you kind of feel your rhythm in life before you speak.
The joy that you have with creating your music really shines through with everything that you make, whether you are bearing your soul, whether you're giving us a reason to celebrate. I love your love of the piano because that is what helped you to find your voice. Yeah. And you finding your voice is helping so many other singer-songwriters to find theirs.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. To come out of a car accident, if you're going to have anything positive come out of something as horrible as that, and the pain and the challenges that you had to deal with that, I would say this is a great thing to come out of that. I really would.
Oh, thanks.
Taryn, it's so great. It's so great to be able to sit down and have this talk with you, and for our viewers to be able to meet you. We're going to share her original song pictures now, and please check her out everywhere that you stream.
Come meet me in the backyard where I'll be painting pictures of my life. I'll be drawing ones of gates and arcs, little doorways to the other side, where the poets of starving hearts and nobody's just in it for the ride. Oh, where did it all go wrong? This joy isn't the same old song. It's not like the one we used to sing. What do you see in these pictures? The little girl growing wiser, the white flag caught on fire from all the years under pressure, under pressure. Come meet me in the backyard where I'll be painting pictures of my life. I'll be drawing ones of kings and queens, ones of Cinderella and Joan of Arc. Oh, where did it all go wrong? This sure isn't the same old song. It's not like the one we used to sing. What do you see in these pictures? A little girl growing wiser, a white flag caught on fire from all the years under pressure, under pressure. I used to laugh at everything. I used to dress up like a queen. When did I stop pretending? What do you see in these pictures? A little girl growing wiser, a white flag caught on fire. Free, I just wanna be free. I just wanna be free. I just backyard, I'll be painting pictures of my life.
As you know, Good Talk takes great pleasure in bringing you talented individuals from all over the world, and tonight is no exception. This time we had to look no further than our own Long Island backyard. Paying us a visit is artist Robyn Bellospitiro, aka also known as Bird. She's been exhibiting her art for over 30 years in galleries and museums in the New York metropolitan area, around the country, and abroad. Robyn is listed in Who's Who in American Art and Who's Who of American Women, and holds a bachelor's degree in art history. She has worked in some of New York's finest museums, including the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Frick Collection. I welcome to the show my friend Robyn Bellospitiro. Welcome.
Thank you, Don. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so honored to be here.
It's a pleasure. You've been somebody that I've been wanting to put on this show for quite a while, and I'm happy that we're able to finally make it happen.
Thank you. It's a joy. Thank you.
So let's jump into it and tell us about, I guess, your journey involving art, music, and spirit.
Wow, it's a big journey. It started when I was very young. I started painting when I was about 8 years old. My parents were taking classes at night at a college, and they had a paint box full of oil paints, and I saw it across the room, and I said, "What's that? Can you teach me?" You know, so they taught me, and I've been painting since I was 8. I played a little bit of music here and there as a kid, but we had a really small house, so it was, you know, a better fit for me to like go into art. It was quieter.
What do you play? What do you play?
Well, I had a flutophone and a little organ.
Oh,
Started
cool.
me out. I really wanted a drum set, but, you know, wasn't possible in our house.
I got you.
But painting was wonderful because it was a nice quiet way for me to, you know, be by myself and create whatever I wanted, pick any colors that I wanted, and you know, I started by copying the masters, and then as a teenager, my parents would drive me to life drawing classes at CW Post, which were for high school students. So I would do that on Saturday morning. So I had like the basics, but I really kind of took off on my own and had, you know, kind of, I consider myself self-taught in a lot of ways, because I didn't stick with the basics even though I learned them. I've always found life incredibly fascinating. I've loved reading books. I would go downstairs and take my parents' books and bring them up to my room and read about all sorts of topics. And in regard to spirituality, I've always been fascinated. Like the first books, my mom, you know, brought me and my sister to the library, and she said, "Go pick a book." And she thought we were going to go to the kids section, and I went to the adult section, and I took out books on like ghosts and things like that. So anyway, I'm just you know, I practice shamanism now, so that's big part of my life. It's my lifestyle, but kind of makes its way into my art. It's all kind of related, and I play a little music now, but I'm mainly consider myself a visual artist.
How would you describe your art? Are there different like periods and moods? Is it abstract? What would you say?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know really the technical term for it, but some people call it surreal, but it's just my own style, and it's a bit abstracted. I did go through a period where I did only abstracted painting. I've done a little photography. I've done some video self-portraits. I've done performance and dance art and things like that. So they all kind of like play on each other, and sometimes I mix the mediums together, like creating costumes, masks, and building props for my performances. And I haven't been doing a lot of that lately, but yeah, my art skills kind of come in handy with the other mediums that I work in. It's been a struggle since the pandemic hit, because I was working on creating this. It's called the Sky Garden, with all these props, and I was going to do some movement art in between it, and coat myself in all blue and clothe myself in blue, and create a sky garden, because the blue sky, and this ties into my spirituality, the blue sky is something, it covers us all, no matter where we're from and what our backgrounds are, what our cultures and countries are. We all have the blue sky above our head, and we're all, in this one planet. So it's to kind of bring people together into a higher level, and to use my art to bring beauty to people and to give them a sense of peace and joy in life.
Love that. I love that. That is so beautiful. Can you tell us, where can our audience find you? Tell us some upcoming events. Tell us where they can look at some of your artwork.
Wow. Let's see. Well, my art is hanging in Cornucopia's Nursery in Amityville, New York. It's been there for 10 years. Erica Reichlin and her husband are the owners, and every so often I change it up when I do new work. So they're wonderful. So it's always there. I also have a website, www.robynbellospirito.com. And I also am going to be I'm the cover story in the premiere fall issue of a magazine called Long Island Portfolio, and the editor is Alex Wolf. And it's a new online magazine whose mission is to help artists and people in the art world promote themselves and their work with their own words. So that's going to be really exciting.
I'm assuming that you're probably a proponent of art programs in schools.
Absolutely. Art's so important. It's so sad that it usually is the first thing to get cut, but to give children that freedom of expression, not only freedom of expression, which can be very cathartic and very empowering spiritually, mentally, it's empowering for children to know that they have the right to express themselves, and also express themselves without words, which really helped me a great deal growing up. I feel like that's, my art saved my life at many points in my life.
Wow.
And there's a lot that I've been through health-wise. I'm still facing a lot of health challenges, but art is like a lifesaver to me. But yeah, going back to the schools, it's so important also for creative thinking and thinking outside the box, because most people don't fit into one way of thinking. And giving children, empowering them with the ability to think outside the box and creative thinking, and helping them to know that if something doesn't work in their life, or something doesn't feel like it's moving in a certain direction that they like, they can think in other ways and always find a way forward, and always find a way to enjoy their life and find meaning in life, even if it's not the way that is envisioned by themselves or by others around them. So.
Wow, what a beautiful answer. I totally concur. And I hate how time flies by so quickly that we're out of time. However, Robyn's been so generous. She's given us a little sizzle reel she put together. So we're going to say goodbye and throw it to a sizzle reel of some of Robyn's work, some of her creations. I think you guys are absolutely going to enjoy. And I just want to take one more moment to say thank you so much for being a part of our show and having a good talk.
Oh, thank you so much, Don. This has been a wonderfully good talk.
I've noticed that throughout my work, the spiral and the circle has been a very important form, just as it is here in my little painting Sleep, or in this painting Healing Spirit, with the hair and the vines encircling her face, and her big healing green eyes, and the garden in the rose with its spiral of petals holding a garden within. Hold Me as a painting about an embryo inside a womb, a circular form. And in my abstracted works, Here's Mending Heart, two beings coming to a point in the center that radiates outward. And either further abstracted is the red place, a sort of mandala in square format, but around The round and the square are related. Peace. This painting has spirals on her cheeks. And here is the spiral heart, the energy of the heart emanating outward through one simple form of the spiral. Spirals have appeared in my work, throughout the body of my work. This one was also on a square canvas called Totem Spirals. The entire design is one spiral with a face appearing above it. And this is Pearl. A serene face peering out from a spiral form. And spirals appear in echoes of light. The circular form holding a face. And the cosmic berry tree with its spirals of energy, fruits of sorts. And then I began playing with watercolor, a single circle with the whole universe contained within it, or simply a picture of a horse and the moon with the stars above. I love watercolor and how it makes its own shapes that I work on top of, like here, the birth of a star in pen and ink. Then a mandala, which I was guided to doing by a fellow shamanic practitioner, and it told me so much. And then I saw the show at the Guggenheim, the work of Hilma af Klint, in all her spiral and circular forms, and I began doing mandalas, more mandalas, as I worked through a challenging form, place in my life. And the mandala keeps me focused, helps me find my center, shows me the way, as Carl Jung spoke of in his Red Book, the Red Book, where he talks about seeing himself anew each day through his drawings. I find, too, they show me where I am at. Like this moon here in black and white, two hands reaching across a space, or one heart being formed from two, and I continue to make these spirals and these mandalas, and they heal me.